Now let's do a little bit more practice here. We're just going to look at the electron configurations for number 3 and 4 on the first section. We have chlorine. We've got to figure out the number of valence electrons in chlorine. I'm sorry, not valence electrons, but total electrons. And for chlorine, it turns out to be 17. We'll come down and do argon in just a minute, but if looking up the periodic table, we find argon has, coincidentally, right next door to chlorine, has got 18 electrons. So we're going to be able to see maybe a pattern here. So chlorine, we're starting here with our F-bow chart. We're going to encounter a 1s sublevel, and remember, S sublevel is equal to electrons. P can fit up to 6 electrons. D can fit up to 10 electrons, and F can fit up to 14 electrons. Now remember, we have 2 electrons per orbital, so 1 orbital. This is going to be 3 orbitals, 5 orbitals, and 7 orbitals. So that's going to come into play for the next section. So we're going to fit 2 electrons in our 1s. Then we follow this arrow down, and we encounter 2s. And we can fit 2 electrons in there, and we've got 2 to give. And then following that arrow, we get to 2p, and there's going to be 6 electrons in there. Then we go into 3s, and we can fit 2 electrons in there. We're getting close to our 17. We only have 12 now. Once we're at our 3s, we're going to double back, and we're going to go to 3p. 12 to 17, that's going to give us 5. We can fit 6 in our S sublevel. I'm sorry, our P sublevel. But we only need 5 to give us a total of 17. So that's our electron configuration for chlorine. Argon, we got 18. We're just going to take it one more electron further. So 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, and 3p6. One more. These guys are right next to each other. This is going to differ from chlorine in that there's one more electron in our 3p sublevel. So that's how you do these guys. Let's take a look at our electron, our orbital notation. So we look at number 3 on the next section. We have scandium, Sc, and that's going to give us 21 electrons. So we're going to find homes for 21 electrons in our orbitals. So orbitals, remember, boxes or circles or lines. We've been doing boxes in class, so I'll just be consistent. So we're going to put our first 2 electrons in our 1s orbital. And then following our same chart, we're going to encounter 2s next. So we're going to label it 2s. And then after 2s, we encounter 2p. And there's going to be 6 electrons in our 2p sublevel. And then after 2p, we end up with, we go to 3s. And there's going to be 2 electrons in there, so we're at 12 out of our 21. And then after 3s, we go to 3p. So we've got 6 electrons in there. That was our 3p. And then we go to 4s. We're getting close. We have 2 electrons in there. So now we're at 20 of our electrons. After 4s, we go to 3d. And a d sublevel contains 5 orbitals. And in there, we're just going to have 1 electron in our 3d. And this would be for scandium. And then lastly, we're going to have sulfur. Sulfur has an atomic number of 16, so we're going to have a home for 16 electrons. Look, it's 1 less than chlorine. So we go 1s with 2 electrons in there. 2s, again, those are following our paths right here. And then 2p, and we're going to have enough for 6 in there. And then our 3s. Oops, 3s. Sorry, there we go. And we're getting, let's see, 10. We need to get to 16. Oh, sorry. I made a goof. I was right the first time. 3s just has 2 electrons. And after our 3s, we go to 3p. And we've got, let's see, 2, 4, 10, 12. We need 4 more electrons in there to get us to our 16. And that's what we would look like.